concise and informative.
Thank you for joining us on the News Machine, the hottest news magazine show on radio. We are reaching you from Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM. 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Otobong Nkanta. This morning on the News Machine, Chief of Army Staff flags off operation to bring peace to Plateau State. Stakeholders say Tinubu's student loan scheme is unworkable. And Lagos State begins polio vaccination exercise. We will also be linking up for the voices in the news. The News Machine will be back after these messages.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 states for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff Major General Taoreed Lakpaja has formally flagged off the ongoing operations to quell the herders-farmers clashes in Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Addressing the troops during the flag-off, the Army Chief charged them to stamp out every form of security threat in the locality and Plateau State in general.
Note that you must work and you must work effectively. We must see the result in Plateau. This violence must not resurge. You must stamp it and stamp it out completely once and for all. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? Good, you have pledged your readiness. I expect this in the actions you will take in the field. I wish you the very best. My lines are open. If you have any challenge, any questions, please just send in a message. We will respond accordingly.
The Army Chief also held a town hall meeting with stakeholders in Mangu where he said that everyone must show commitment to the peace project in Plateau State. The student loan scheme recently signed by President Bola Tinubu has been described as unworkable. Stakeholders in the education sector agreed on this at a forum organized by the Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa (CAPA) in Lagos. The student loan bill, according to the president, would enable Nigerian students to access loans at interest-free rate. Stakeholders like parents, students, lecturers, education rights activists, and others brainstormed on the loan scheme. The topic was, will student loans increase access to public higher education in Nigeria? This is Akimbode Oluwafemi, Executive Director at CAPA.
The Tinubu administration should sit down with experts to craft out intervention that will address infrastructure, remuneration, research, as well as bursaries to Nigerians. If you want to support indigenous students, we are also using this as an opportunity, and that was I took on my friend from Lagos State, to remind the state governments that I, sitting down here, actually benefited from bursary on when we're in those states. The subnationals can again, under our constitution, begin to look at how to provide for their indigenous students. At a point in this country, it was almost becoming like competition. If Oyo State is paying 500, Lagos State will pay 1,000. So while we are also challenging the national government to again have a comprehensive, very honest, not pro capita, because this Student Loan Act is written from the covering of the World Bank and IMF. That is people focused, and we address the interests of the Nigerian people, particularly the indigenous students.
This is Zikora Ibe, Policy and Research Officer at CAPA.
Another thing is that, there are no modalities for how, it is just a vague provision. There are no modalities as to how students even receive the tuition fees. Are we talking about a yearly tuition fee? Are we talking about a tuition fee that covers all the academic session? What exactly is tuition fee when you say it? And when you say tuition fee, remember that students have to, search for accommodation. You have to get other things that enable them function properly in school. This loan does not cover it. It just covers tuition fees. Meaning that the poorest of the poor, or even middle class, or even anybody, still have to fend for themselves when it comes to surviving in a school environment.
According to CAPA, the income cap of less than 500,000 naira per annum neglects the economic realities in Nigeria. It says that provision means the exclusion of the least paid employee in the public service who earns 30,000 naira as the minimum wage. Also, the loan scheme only caters for tuition fees. Stakeholders said this provision suggests a plan to introduce tuition fees in universities and other tertiary institutions. This is Gideon Adeyemi, the spokesman of Education Right Campaign.
We can all do a bit of study, check Human Development Index by country, which is basically a function of access to education, and check livability of countries. How livable a country is. Some of the most livable countries today are Denmark, Finland, Sweden, and co. Norway and co. The Scandinavians, basically. So, please place them side by side. Get list of countries, Human Development Index. Then the most livable countries. You will realize that countries with the highest Human Development Index are also the most livable countries. Because people have access to higher education, the country become livable, the society become livable. So with that understanding, you will see that education is not a commodity that you should trade, take 5 naira, then give me education. It is a social service that has to be made available and accessible to every member of the society. You want to develop, give education to people.
The stakeholders also noted that despite the tuition-free policy, students of government-owned higher institutions pay a series of charges and levies generally called school fees. Here's Professor Adelaja Odukoya, Zonal Coordinator of ASU in Lagos.
I think we are not listening well. The title of the bill is "Act Them Away from Education." Yeah, that is act them away from education. Then again, let me warn us. It is actually dangerous, and we condone most of this thing. But actually, why is it impossible for us to tell government they are wrong? Why must we always rationalize government inadequacies? Is it the business of civil society to run government? Do they have the capacity? The religious organization, are we saying, are they not part of the problem? Are they not part of the civil society? So let's get this issue right. Let's put the issue squarely where it is. Failure of governance. Simple, Shikena. Then again, we talk about public engagement. As there always be any, what we run is democratic authoritarianism. Pretense. Go to the so-called public hearings. It's a huge joke.
The stakeholders agreed that the student loan scheme, if allowed to stand, would further marginalize those from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. They called for the scrapping of the student loan scheme and ensure more funding for education. They also called for accountability and efficient utilization of TET Fund and other intervention programs of the government. The Lagos State government over the weekend commenced a house-to-house polio outbreak response across 57 local government areas, local council development areas of the state. A statement from the State Primary Health Care Board explained that the purpose of the exercise is to give 2 drops of the novel oral polio vaccine to all children aged 0 to 5 years, irrespective of immunization status. The vaccination exercise, in partnership with WHO, UNICEF and others, is designed to boost the immunity of the target group against the circulating polio virus. The exercise ends on Tuesday, 25th of July 2023. Now it's time to get the trendy stories from the News Machine Studios at Hot FM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with more news coming from the nation's capital.
Good morning, I'm Tonya Kokodia. People's Democratic Party presidential candidate and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has raised an alarm over an alleged plot by the All Progressives Congress-led federal government to intimidate judges handling the presidential election petitions to deliver judgment in their favor. Atiku said in a statement by his media advisor Paul Ibe that the election that brought the current government into office was the worst in the annals of the democratic politics in the country. He said it is regrettable that the APC and indeed agents of President Bola Tinubu have ceaselessly chosen to stand in the way of justice by making catastrophic threats to anarchy if justice is not served according to their whims. He said the plot of the APC is simple: to intimidate the judiciary, threaten judges with arrest so that they will bow to their will. Atiku noted that this is a playbook from 2019 when APC removed the CJN and then replaced him with Tanko Mohammed, who himself was later accused of corruption by his colleagues at the Supreme Court and resigned. But the APC has denied plotting to influence judicial officers towards winning and pending cases against it in the court as alleged by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last election, Atiku Abubakar. In a statement in Abuja, the APC National Public Secretary, Barrister Felix Morka, described Atiku's allegation as worthless. And our College of Bishops, Imams and Clergy Council has called on all well-meaning Nigerians to support the efforts of President Bola Tinubu administration in safeguarding national assets, noting that the country cannot attain development if its critical assets are not preserved. To this end, the Clergy Council announced its resolve to collaborate with the security agencies, particularly the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, in creating awareness on the need for all citizens to volunteer as vanguards for protection of public assets in the country. They further lauded the efforts of the NSCDC that has seen to the sharp decline in oil bunkering, vandalism and other criminal activities in the oil-producing areas in particular and the nation in general. And that's all from the News Machine studio at Hot FM Abuja. Over to Lagos.
All right, let's link up with the News Machine studios at Hot FM 99.5 Owerri for the trending news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Good morning and welcome to our News Machine studios in Owerri. Following several complaints from the public, the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Bade, has warned police officers to desist from forcing members of the public, especially youths, to submit their phones, laptops and electronic devices to them, including forcing the victims to transfer various amounts of money to designated accounts. In a statement by the command spokesperson, Henry Okoye, the Commissioner of Police gave the warning while meeting with the tactical team commanders in Owerri, directing that police officers should desist from doing such, including harassing and extorting money from the members of the public, reminding them to be disciplined and to stick to the rules of engagement. He warned that any officer caught disobeying the order would be disciplined accordingly. And finally, the Enugu state government has reminded the people and residents of the state that the ban on the illegal Monday sit-at-home order remains effective. In view of this, the government directed civil servants, schools, markets, financial institutions, business premises and others to resume normal activities on Monday. This latest directive was contained in a statement issued yesterday night by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chidebere Onya. Onya restated the government's resolve to apply sanctions against defaulters of its cancellation of the illegal Monday sit-at-home order in the state. That's all from our News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos for the rest of the news. I am Ifeyunwa Nwanda.
You are listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our stations in Lagos, Abuja and Owerri, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. Let's hear what correspondent Nessa Sani has for us on Voices in the News.
Niger Delta activist Asari Dokubo talking about Nnamdi Kanu.
You encourage people to kill other people. When the madness they call EndSARS started, I was one of the people vocal opposed to that nonsense called EndSARS. And Nnamdi Kanu was walking free. What did he do? He poured petrol. He was walking free. He poured petrol on the flames for EndSARS. Now, he has been caught. What of the people who have died? This is a criminal. He should face the law. What of the people who have died by, as I'm talking, Nnamdi Kanu does not have any control over what is happening in the southeast. Simeon Ekpa had come out pretending that he's with Nnamdi Kanu. He has actually plotted a coup against Nnamdi Kanu to take over the leadership of IPOB. That is the truth of the matter. So releasing Nnamdi Kanu is rewarding criminality and rewarding gruesome murder of innocent people. He should face the law for the actions and the instigation he has carried out.
Also remember, you can listen to episodes of The News Machine and see videos of more news stories online at hotfm.ng. And that's all we have for you on today's edition of The News Machine. Thank you for listening and do have a lovely day ahead. Good morning.